If we lose credibility just by admitting fault, we didn't have any in the first place. Admiral Fujitora. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Fleet, where we do daily anime and manga related content. For today's video, we back with another installment of the most underrated characters in One Piece. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about Admiral Fujitora, the blind admiral himself. Now, Admiral Fujitora first appeared in the anime in episode 630, but he appeared in the manga in episode 701. Isho is his real name, but we better know him as Fujitora. He's an admiral, of course, in the Marines. He was one of the new admirals after the battle between Akainu and Kuzan, and we all know who won that fight, Akainu himself. I actually believe that Akainu and Fujitora may be related, bro, because they just look too similar. And also, who's gonna talk to Akainu like that other than somebody like his family? And the way Fujitora acts, he's act like a man that's bound to no rules. He does things on his own accord, and he's one of the few Marines that is willing to admit fault when the world government has done something wrong. Now, as mentioned before, Fujitora is a blind man with only the whites of his eyeballs showing. He has these scars on his head, and it almost looks like he's been cut on his eyes. And so I read somewhere that Fujitora blinded himself because he didn't want to view all the sadness and the pain in the world. Now, if that's true, bro, that only increases him. Now, Fujitora, he has that cool Japanese sword stick. And it's like, at first we all thought that's where his powers were derived from, but it's not. That's just a way he channels his powers. Fujitora himself has a personality of a man who cares greatly about doing the right thing, even if it means admitting fault from the Navy, from the Marines. He doesn't care. He just wants to do the right thing, and that's extremely rare in this world of One Piece. A Marine willing to do the right thing and admit fault, even when the Marines are at wrong. That's what makes Fujitora even more of a standout, and why he deserves even more respect. We first saw him in the Dressrosa arc, and we all know what happened there. It was the fight between Doflamingo and Law, and all of a sudden, Fujitora comes crashing down. Boom! Not only that, we find out this man has the power to literally summon meteorites. He can control and manipulate gravity at will. His devil fruit is by far one of the most powerful devil fruits in this story. Probably the only thing that'll hold it back is Fujitora himself, because he doesn't have that type of personality. He only wants to use his force when absolute necessary. But you can only imagine what they always say about the quiet ones. You have to watch the quiet ones. And Fujitora is definitely a quiet one, unless he feels he has to speak up and voice his perspective on things. And in Dressrosa, that's just what we saw him do. When he realized that these people were being subjugated and manipulated and controlled and beaten by a pirate whom the government put into power that the Marines can't do anything about. It was an unregulated power, and Fujitora saw the faults in that, and because of that, he just felt horrible. He knew that this was not the right thing. And so Fujitora literally bowed to the king of Dressrosa. On top of that, Fujitora's observation haki is second to none. He even has better observation haki than, I would say, Katakuri. He's blind, but he can still see people clearly. He can still feel your intentions, your motives, everything about you. He can feel it all. Fujitora, his observation haki is always beaming because he's literally blind. So observation haki is how he sees and makes sense of the world. Let's get to that devil fruit of his, which is possibly one of the most broken and overpowered devil fruits in the entire series. Fujitora ate the Zushi no Mi, a paramecia type devil fruit that allows him to manipulate and control gravitational forces. The ability's range of effect can potentially span extremely wide areas, even entire islands. And like I mentioned before, it's primarily channeled through that Japanese sword stick that he wields. Fujitora can drastically increase the gravity around others, keeping them on the ground and making it difficult for them to move, including extremely strong adversaries. He can increase the gravity, acting on opponents to press them down under immense pressure, even as far as going to create large craters deep within the earth, bro. This man can literally keep you in place, crush you with the force of gravity, and then summon a meteorite or meteor shower to come crashing down. Literally island level threat, bro. Like, you cannot stop this man. On top of that, we already know, because he's an admiral, that haki is off the charts. So I believe Fujitora should get a lot more credit than he gets. And I know we don't see him much, but that's just what makes it all the more cool. Fujitora is a character. He's a rarity in the Marines. He sort of has that Garp type of personality, where even though he's a Marine, he still believes in justice no matter what. He doesn't really care about the celestial dragons or anything like that. He doesn't care about personal image. All he cares about is ridding the world of corruption and bringing justice to evil. Fujitora, you earned a spot on this list as one of the most underrated, underappreciated characters in One Piece. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Let me know your thoughts on who should be on the next installment of the Underrated series. And with that, Cap out.